watched you from the other side, always close but never mine. I memorized the way you smiled, like it could save me for a while. I held my breath when you walked in, afraid the truth would slip within. I told myself I'd be okay if loving you stayed this way. I chose the quiet over truth and paid the price for loving you. I loved you quietly when no one else could see. I hid my heart in silence and called it safety. Now you're gone and I'm still here with words I couldn't speak. I loved you quietly. I laughed when you talked about her, like it didn't tear me apart. I said I'm fine, like it was easy, while you held someone else's heart. I wrote your name but tore the page, too scared to make the choice I did make. I thought if I waited long enough you'd somehow feel my love, but love doesn't read what's never said, it just fades instead. I loved you quietly, I broke without a sound. I stood right next to you but never turned around. Now it's too late and I see what my silence did to me. I loved you quietly. If I could go back just once more, I'd knock on your closed door. I'd say the things I let decay before you walked away. I loved you quietly, but I won't hide again. I'll carry this regret with grace, not shame. You never knew my heart, but it was real completely. I loved you quietly, always did, always did. There are letters in my drawer that you were never meant to read. Every line a confession, every word incomplete. I practiced every conversation in my head at night, but when I stood in front of you, I lost the fight. I swallowed every truth I had, and now I'm living with the past. The words I never said, I scream it now instead. They echo in the silence of the life said, never said. You're laughing with someone new, like I was never a part of you. I stand here holding all the truth, with nowhere left to put it. I waited for the perfect time, thought love would read my mind. But perfect moments don't exist, they pass you by like this. I had a million chances to. Now I only have you in view. It's too late to tell you what I should have said before. My heart was knocking, but I never opened the door. You moved on and I stayed still, afraid of what might come true. Now it's too late to tell you. I loved you in the smallest ways, in glances that I turned away, in staying when I should have run, in choosing fear instead of love. I told myself you'd always be right there waiting patiently, but love doesn't wait forever, it leaves quietly. I thought I had more time, I was wrong. It's too late to tell you I loved you all along. I kept my heart in hiding, now the moment's gone. If I could trade this regret for one truth coming through, I'd tell you everything, but it's too late to tell you. Maybe silence felt like grace, but courage would have changed our fate. I'll never know what could have been, that's the hardest thing. It's too late to tell you, but not too late to heal. I'll forgive myself for loving and never letting it feel. I'll carry you gently, not bitter, not blue, but it's too late to tell you. Too late to tell you. I sat beside you every day with a heart I hid away. I learned the art of almost there, of caring without being fair. I listened when you needed someone, held your tears like they were nothing, while mine stayed locked inside, afraid they'd change your mind. I loved you in the safest way that cost me everything. I was loving you in silence, calling it control, but it didn't feel the same. I told myself this was enough to love you from far away. I thought not asking meant not hurting, but silence has its own kind of burn, and I lost you without trying, and that's the worst kind. I didn't wanna change your world. Now I'm alone in mine. I was loving you in silence, but silence didn't save me. It just watched you walk away like I was nothing. I don't blame you for leaving. You never knew the truth. I was loving you in silence. If love is brave, then I was weak. I let fear do all the speaking. I'll never know what love we missed, and I'll live with this. I was loving you in silence, but I'm learning how to speak. I won't hide my heart again, just to feel complete. You were real, you were true, even if you never knew. I was loving you in silence. Silence. I carried love like fragile glass, afraid that it would never last. So I kept it close, kept it small, never let it fall. I watched you drift from me so slow, still hoping you would somehow know. But hope is quiet, fear is loud, and fear won out. I thought protecting you meant hiding me, and now I see what that did to me. My feelings stayed unspoken, and now they're all I have. I lost you without ever trying, that's the saddest fact. You moved on with your life, and I stayed frozen. My feelings stayed unspoken. I loved you in between the lines and all the wrong unspoken signs. I waited for a sign from you while you waited too. We stood so close yet miles apart, two quiet hearts afraid to start. I wish I knew then what I know before I let you go. Silence felt like dignity, but it just broke me. My feelings stayed unspoken, now they haunt my nights. I replay every almost moment, every wasted sign. I don't blame you for leaving. You were never chosen. My feelings stayed unspoken. If I could speak to who I was, I'd tell her love is worth the risk. Even if it breaks your heart, at least you tried. My feelings stayed unspoken, but they were real and true. I'll forget forgive myself for fear and still honor loving you. I'll let this regret soften the heart and not harden my feelings stayed unspoken. But they were real. I almost said it every day, but almost isn't brave. I let the moment slip away, then watched it fade. I stood right there when you were close, but fear held my throat. I thought my silence kept you safe, instead it broke us both. I thought love would wait for truth, but time doesn't do what hearts do. I never told you I loved you, and now it's too late to try. You found someone who said it loud while I stayed quiet inside. I thought I was protecting us, but silence chose for me. I never told you I loved you, and that's what's killing me. I listened when you talked about her, like it didn't tear me apart. I smiled through every sentence while you held someone else's heart. I wrote your name in empty notes, deleted them before you'd know. I kept my love so carefully, it never got to breathe. I let the moment pass me by, and now I live with why. I never told you I loved you, I never gave you a sign. I waited for a better moment that never arrived. You moved on honestly, I stayed silently. I never told you I loved you. If courage came a little sooner, if fear had loosened its grip, maybe love would have met us halfway before it slipped. I never told you I loved you, but I loved you all along. I'll forgive myself for being scared and then learn to be strong. You'll live where my regrets stay true, but I'll still heal, I'll still grow. I never told you I loved you. Now I finally let it go. I finally let it go. I loved you in the smallest ways and glances. I looked away and staying quiet when I should have said your name. I told myself this was enough, to love you without being tough. But silence has a way of growing into regret. I hid my heart to keep it safe. Now it's screaming your name. It was silent love, loud regret. Every word I never said. I played it cool, I played it smart, but broke my own heart. You never knew, I never tried. Now I live with the wise, silent love, loud regret. I watched you drift into someone new, like there was nothing I could do. But there was, I just didn't speak. That truth is haunting me. I told myself you didn't feel it, but love doesn't disappear like that. Maybe you were just as scared, and I never met you there. We stood so close, afraid to fall, and silence won it all. It was silent love, loud regret. I chose fear instead of yes. I let the moment pass me by, and now it hurts to realize I don't blame you for leaving. You were never meant to know. Silent love, loud regret. If love is risk, I played it safe and lost you anyway. That's the cruelest irony of loving quietly. It was silent love, loud regret, but I won't stay broken by it. I'll learn to speak, I'll learn to try before another chance goes quiet. You were real and so was I, even if I never said it. Silent love, loud regret. I said it too late. If only I had spoken up when you were right there next to me. If only I had trusted love instead of fearing what might be. I held my truth behind my smile, thought waiting was the wiser style. But love doesn't reward delay, it walks away. I thought silence was control, but it cost me you. If only I had spoken when my heart was screaming loud, I wouldn't be alone tonight, wondering how everything slipped through my hands without a fight. If only I had spoken. I remember the way you looked at me, like you almost felt the same. Maybe you were waiting too, for me to say your name. I thought love would read my eyes, but love needs more than signs. It needs courage, it needs sound, and I let you down. I see it clear now, every sign that I ignored at the time. If only I had spoken before you learned to move on, before my chance disappeared, before the moment was gone. I don't blame you for choosing peace over uncertainty. If only I had spoken. Regret is quiet. to another life. I loved you honestly, then silently. If only I had spoken. If only I had spoken. You never knew my heart, the way it shook when you were near, the way it memorized your laugh and carried you for years. I played the role of just a friend, like it didn't hurt inside. I stood beside you every day and slowly said goodbye. I showed you everything but truth. That's the part I lose. You never knew my heart, but it beat for you. In every quiet sacrifice I never showed you. You loved out loud, I loved apart, and now we're worlds away. You never knew my heart. I watched you give your love away to someone braver than me. I smiled like it didn't hurt, like I wasn't bleeding quietly. I thought not speaking was respect, but love felt so unchecked. I lost you without trying, and that's what hurts the most. I don't blame you for moving on. You never knew you were wrong. You never knew my heart, but it was real and strong. I loved you in the waiting for far too long. I don't need you to come back, I just need to say you never knew my heart. Maybe love isn't meant to hide, maybe silence isn't kind. I'll carry this truth with me into who I'll be. You never knew my heart, but I forgive myself for loving deeply and quietly and choosing fear instead. I love louder next time. From the very start, you never knew my heart, but I did. I loved you without a sound, without a single plea. I kept my feelings buried deep so you wouldn't leave. I watched you search for love in places I could have been, but silence held me hostage to the fear within. I thought quiet fears your past, like loving quietly could last. I thought being near was enough, but near is never love. I wrote your name in midnight thoughts, erased them by the morning light. I lived 1,000 versions of us,